Hey everyone, it's Ryan again, Executive Chef at the Nashville City Club. In today's cooking class, we're going to make key lime pie. It's a popular thing on a lot of restaurant menus. I know it's a popular thing on ours. So I'm hoping to take a little bit of the mystery out of this and show you guys that it's really not that hard to make. It's relatively easy and delicious. I'm making two today for the purpose of our restaurant. But what I'm going to do as I go through the ingredients, I'm going to tell you guys the amounts that you're going to need of these ingredients. And so the method is going to be exactly the same, just with like less ingredients. So I'm going to start out by making the crust. First thing you're going to need for the crust is graham cracker crumbs right here. You can buy them from the store already ground up, or and if you don't have access to that, you can just take regular graham crackers and kind of crunch them up with a rolling pin so they get like a really fine, kind of like a dust almost. It almost looks like the consistency of sugar. So you're going to need about 12 ounces of the graham cracker crumbs. And then you're going to need melted butter, about 5 ounces of that. Go ahead and just melt it on the stove and pour it in there while it's warm. Okay, so we're going to add the butter, the graham cracker crumbs. And then we're also going to stir in some sugar. So you need 2/3 cup of sugar. Okay, so we're going to pour the sugar in there. And we're going to take a rubber spatula and we're just going to stir these together. And this is going to form the base for our crust. Just take a little bit of time to make sure that everything's mixed together well. Good. What we have here is we have two half pans. That's what they're called in the restaurant industry. As far as the measurements go, these things are about 12 by 10. I'd say like 2 inches deep. So when you're making yours, you want to get one pan that's close to those same dimensions to do this in. If it's a little bit of if it's off by a few inches, it doesn't really matter because the method is just going to be the same. So we're going to take the pan spray. We're going to spray in the bottom of these. And then we're going to take a piece of parchment paper that I've already pre-cut for this and place this in the bottom of the pan. It doesn't need to go up the sides. This needs to cover the bottom. Okay. This is going to keep the crust from sticking to the pan. So not only do we have parchment paper that's going to protect it from sticking to the bottom of the pan, we also use the pan spray so it'll come out nice and easy. But everything goes to plan. So, again, I'm making two, so I'm going to divide this in between two pans. But when you're doing yours at home, just need to do one pan, so you can put it all in the same one. Okay, so I'm going to scrape it real quick, make sure we're getting everything out of here. Alright, so now what you want to do, you just take your hands, kind of spread it evenly across the bottom of your pan that you're baking it in. And once you get it across the bottom of the pan, and you're pretty sure that it's level, you're going to want to start kind of packing it down. The palm of your hand and also your fingers around the edge. Okay, so you're packing it down with your hand and then spreading it around a little bit. Try to ensure it's going to be level. If it's not perfectly level, it's not really that big of a deal. Just get it as good as you can. And the same thing with packing it down as well. Like it's never going to be like perfectly tight, because you're dealing with a lot of like loose graham cracker crumbs, So just kind of get it as well as you can. And it's important to pack it because that way there's less of a chance that the crust is going to crack when you get it out of the pan after it's done baking and it's cooled. Okay, so that's pretty good. You want to get it packed down there on the edges. And you're going to want to put this pan in a preheated oven, preheated to 325 degrees. And and you're going to want to put it in there for 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and get this in the oven, and then we'll be back and I'll show you how to make the filling. Okay, so these cook for 10 minutes at 325 degrees. Now, these aren't completely set yet because one, they're still hot, and two, they're going to be baked for longer once we put the filling in. But you can kind of see down here the crust is starting to form a little bit. It's harder, so the crust is forming right there. So that's it's a good start. We're on our way to making this. Okay, so now we're going to make the filling. What you want to do to start making the filling is you need the zest of probably about 2 limes. Okay, it should equal about like 2 tablespoons. Okay, so we're going to put the lime zest in there. Again, use a spatula to get out all of it so we don't waste anything. And then you're going to want to put in 6 egg yolks. No whites, just the yolks. Put those in there. Okay, and then we're going to mix it on high speed for roughly 5 minutes. And this is going to make the eggs grow in volume. It's going to make them fluffy, and it's going to make them thick as well. And it's going to be the lime zest is going to be intermingled all throughout that. So we're going to let this go for 5 minutes, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so this has been whipping the eggs for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. I was using the number 8 speed on my KitchenAid mixer there. It wasn't the high setting, but it was the next to highest. And
are you done with the movie?
You can kind of see as I hold this up that the eggs have got a lot lighter in color, and they've gotten a lot thicker. Okay, so that's kind of what you're going for there. Put that back on there. Okay, and next you want to add the condensed milk, the sweetened condensed milk. For your purposes at home, you're going to want to add in 2 14-ounce cans. Okay, so we're just going to pour that in there. Again, using our spatula, it's a common theme throughout this video here. Also, another application you can do with sweetened condensed milk, which I kind of like to do, is make caramel with it. You peel the label off an unopened can of condensed milk. You can submerge it in water and bring it to a boil. And let that go for about 1.5 hours. Be careful not to let the water go below the lining of the can. Always, make sure the can's submerged. And after 1.5 hours, you can pull it out, let it cool down, and then when you open the can, you'll have caramel. So that's a little trick you can use at home for condensed milk and other applications. Well, we're making a key lime pie with it today. I always end up spilling a little bit of this too. I'm very messy with condensed milk, not sure why. Okay, so we got the condensed milk in there. And now we're going to start the mixer again at about the same rate of speed, but this time we're going to do it for 4 minutes. So we're going to get that going, and we'll be right back. Okay, so this has been going to about 8 speed again on this KitchenAid for 4 minutes. So we're going to turn it off. Okay, so just so you guys can see it again, what it looks like. It's still going to be a thick mixture. Okay, not quite as thick as the egg yolks were. It's a little bit thinner than that, but it still has a very nice body to it. Okay, so I'm going to put this back on here. Okay, and next we want to add the lime juice. This is about 1 1/3 cups of lime juice. You can find this at the store. You can also squeeze fresh limes, but that's quite a bit of work. So I would recommend just going to the grocery store and buying those little bottles of key lime juice that you see. Yep. So add the lime juice in there. Right, now we're also going to add some sugar and some salt. Now, the salt in this application is to just kind of like enhance all the flavors that are going on in there. It's gonna make it taste brighter. It's gonna have more of a pop to it when you add salt to it. That's why we're adding salt here. And then we're also gonna add in just a small amount of sugar to this filling. Again, it's not gonna make the filling sweet. The sugar is also gonna serve to enhance the flavors that are going on and to kind of make it pop as well. It's still gonna be very, very citrusy, very, very not sweet at all. Okay. Now, once you have all these ingredients in here, you just want to mix it enough just to bring it together. Okay? You don't have to do it on high, and you don't have to do it for very long. Just kind of stir it together. Just make sure you're incorporating all those ingredients throughout the mixture. Okay. We're going to take the whisk attachment off there. Knock the excess back into the bowl. Now we're going to put this mixture on top of the pre-baked crust. Okay. And again, I'm doing this half and half between these two pies, or crusts, I should say. But again, when you're doing it at home, you can, you're doing half of what I'm doing, so you can just pour it all right in there. Scrape this out. Alright. So now I'm going to use a spatula just to make sure that the filling is going to be evenly distributed across the surface of the crust. Looking pretty good and even. Okay. Now we're going to put this pie into a 350 degree oven, not 325 like the crust. We're going to put this into a 350 degree oven for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to check it. All ovens vary, so it might take a little bit longer at your oven at home than it's going to take here. But when we do it here, it takes about 10 minutes. And so you're going to want to cook it until it's set. And the way you can tell it's set is if you kind of jiggle the pan a little bit, and you see how that filling is moving very freely like that. So when it's set, when you jiggle like that, there's not going to be any indicator of motion from the filling. That'll mean that it's set. And so I'm going to go ahead and put it in the oven, and we're going to come back. I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, we cooked this in the oven at 325 degrees. I said 10 minutes, but this took more like about 15 this time around. And you can tell when it's set, because when you pull the pan there, you shake it back and forth. It moves a little, but then it springs right back into place. Now this is because it's still warm, so it's not going to completely like thick until it cools down, obviously. But there's a little give there, but then it kind of goes back into place. It's not like a wave or something like that as it kind of moves around. And one thing that I should mention is when you're mixing it, you really want to pay attention to how long you're mixing it for, because one thing that can ruin a key lime pie quite easily is if you over mix it. So if you're using your electric mixer, make sure that you're beating the eggs for 5 minutes and no longer, and then make sure when you add the condensed milk that you're beating it for 3 to 4 minutes and no longer than that. And then stir in the key lime juice just to combine, right? Very slow speed, just to combine. And then after you bake it, and then you see your consistency's right, take it anywhere between 10, 15 minutes, I'd say. Check it at 10. Then you're going to want to throw it in your freezer, I would recommend, overnight, so that it gets really, really hardened and can easily cut and take out of the pan. So that's it. That's a key lime pie, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good day.